Despite the drier and warmer weather, crews say the Nethker fire is now 98% contained. Police are still searching for a couple who disappeared after being questioned about two missing children in Rexburg. The City of Trees will soon see new leadership. Lauren McLean has a full plate ahead of her and will have to hit the ground running in January when she's sworn in as Boise's first elected female mayor. Jillian Garrigues here from 6 on Your Side. I'm at the Albertsons at Lake Hazel and 5 Mile in Boise, where Toys for Tots is in full swing. We've been talking about the fog and potentially icy roads since it's so wet and soggy out.
It's wet, it's soggy.
We're learning more information. The fire has now grown to 800 acres. 2 structures have burned, and now Boise Fire Chief Dennis Stone says one of those buildings was a home. We are watching the fog in 4 different spots around the valley this morning. We've got our Eagle and St. Luke's camera where things are looking okay in Meridian, State and Glenwood, all right in Garden City, and Broadway and University, all right in downtown Boise. However, Gowan and Federal Way is where a big trouble spot is. That end of the valley seeing lots of thick fog. This morning, a sheriff's deputy in California is expected to be relieved of his duties after officials say he made up a story about coming under sniper fire last week. New this morning, the Better Business Bureau is warning families to be aware of a rise in reports of free child safety kit scams. Now, seasonal affective disorder impacts more women than men, and the farther you live from the equator makes a difference too. Doctors say light therapy is another thing that might work. Try using a happy light like this one for 20 to 30 minutes a day while you work. Today is Giving Tuesday, and one of the many local organizations you can choose to support today is the Speedy Foundation. We have Shannon Decker joining us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell us what the Speedy Foundation does for our community.
Linda Lou, your peaches and cream baby.
At Boise's Willow Park Senior Living, the love and bonding of mother and daughter.
I love you, a bushel and a peck and a hug around the neck.
Linda Ahrens has spent the last 7 years side by side with her mom, Eleanor Fitzgerald. Linda works at Willow Park. She's the coordinator of the memory care program where Eleanor lives.
Having her here, I have the best of both worlds. I really see her more now than when she lived with me because I was going to work. My husband is able to work from home, so he was always there.
At 84 years old, Eleanor is in the late stage of Alzheimer's. Diagnosed 13 years ago after a car accident.
She left the scene of the accident. No one got hurt or anything, but she left and the guy followed her home, and of course he called the police, and then Mom called me and she said, I was in this accident and there really wasn't that much damage, but they're here and they said I need to call you. And that was my first real big whoa, my mom would never leave the scene of an accident.
That diagnosis was tough to hear.
I said, Mom, your life will still continue.
Eleanor was also a caregiver for her father with Alzheimer's.
For 10 years, 24/7, she took care of him, no break. She wouldn't even let me help.
And now, as Linda cares for her own mother, she reminds other families affected by this disease they don't have to go through it alone. She's the leader of an Alzheimer's Association support group.
Because I'm still a caregiver, I come to that group needing the group too. And so even though I'm the professional and the facilitator, I can still learn from, all the participants.
Her positive outlook is encouraging to all.
When you're given lemons, what do? And you make lemonade. And so that's kind of what I have felt, with Alzheimer's. But I made lemonade. And it's good.
One of the insects that lives here is actually the dragonfly.
There's a lot you can learn from Idaho's great outdoors.
Look, I see one right there.
At the University of Idaho's McCall Outdoor Science School, or MOSS, K-12 students from all over the state get a one-of-a-kind learning experience.
The water mite. We found it. It's the water mite.
60 to 80 students at a time camp in cabins for a week.
Kind of like a sleepover.
And spend their days exploring Ponderosa State Park.
We've been searching for insects and little creatures.
Not afraid to put the waders on and get a little muddy as they do.
We all got stuck in the mud. It was really funny.
But it's not just Idaho elementary students benefiting. Moss is also a master's program.
It's been awesome. It's been so much fun.
University of Idaho College of Natural Resources students also camp out at the state park for a year, serving as the young students' instructors and also taking graduate level courses at the same time.
So like this?
Yep, exactly.
They'll each finish with a Master of Natural Resources degree.
I really wanted to take what I knew about the environment and help teach other people about what I already know and help them build a connection with our environment as well.
1, 2, 3.
From canoeing and taking water samples of Payette Lake to hiking the trails on the lookout for wildlife, the students learn outside of the classroom.
They were able to core a tree yesterday and figure out how old it was, and they didn't know they could do that before. And a lot of times kids don't get the opportunity to be outside and get to explore. So they get to come here, they get to have so much fun, and they go home learning so much.
This is Croy. He's my second.
Marielle Kessler faces the same struggles as many new mothers.
A lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, just unable to control any situation.
She's one of thousands experiencing perinatal mood and anxiety disorders, different forms of mental illness associated during pregnancy or after the birth of a child. Kessler dealt with postpartum depression and anxiety after her first child and again with her second.
The first few months were really, really rough with sleep.
Sleep deprivation and trouble breastfeeding had a big impact on her emotions, as well as hormonal fallout.
So when a woman's pregnant, her estrogen and progesterone are really high, actually by the end of pregnancy. After about 2 minutes to 2 hours after delivery, estrogen goes about to 1/200% and progesterone goes to 0. So that is a huge fallout of hormones.
Trista Kovac is Kessler's perinatal mental health counselor at St. Alphonsus. She uses cognitive behavioral therapy to help new parents adjust.
We can't control a lot of what's going on around us, babies in particular. They're going to cry, they're going to be up at night. So it's learning how to get to a breathing place where we can get calm and centered and then change the way you're thinking about the same situation. It takes practice. Sounds simple, but it can be kind of daunting at times.
Trista does this thing called snap, stop, and breathe.
Yeah, get a stretchy bracelet or a colored rubber band or something like that, and it's just an idea to get you to stop and breathe. The other thing I have women do is just count everything blue in the room, because when you're focused on something, you can't be anxious.
Kovac says new parents should also remember the basics. Drink water, eat healthy meals with protein consistently, take a walk outside, and most importantly, sleep.
We want to get creative with sleep solutions because we know that sleeping well, or at least getting chunks of sleep, can combat like 75% of anxiety and depression.
And Kessler wants other moms to know you're not alone. Don't be afraid to reach out and get help.
Your hormones really are kind of taking over, and so you're not yourself, but you can get through it. It feels so debilitating. It feels like you can't really get out of that dark place when you're in it, but hopefully you can.